She is. Oh, she's so beautiful. My mom had one. His name's Leo.
That's a good name.
Yeah, he had leukemia. Oh, okay. Now here's the thing.
Yes.
We can't play ball. We can't play ball.
You can get her to do anything you want if you hold that ball. So that's perfect.
Oh. Sammy. Oh, yeah, we'll take that. It's so nice back here.
Yes. Perfect. Record.
Sammy is like, probably like, we never do this back here.
Well, we don't. She's very calm though. She'll do anything you want her to do.
Sammy, you want to get a little massage first? Baby face?
Come.
Sammy.
Come
Come here, baby.
Come.
Come. Come. Sammy. So in class, that's why when I start the classes, um, she's interesting. I think it's something really, she's so knowledgeable. She's your mommy. Oh,
Thank you, Judith.
bye-bye. Bye, dear.
Stay.
So when I do the classes at the helper spot, that's why I don't allow any food, no treats, no balls, no toys. And I always tell everybody to keep the dogs on a leash until the spot, right? So, um, no, because I don't like to force the dogs. But if I could get Sammy even onto your mat, just Angel, Angel. I think we will do some yoga with Kitty. Who smells my dogs? You've got your own yoga mat. I like this. That works.
And that one I had Brilliant, also Brilliant. You have to put in the thing in the washer, and this guy, it's like cotton on the other side.
Right. So, okay. Watch this. We're going to do this. Okay, so we're going to take these away.
Yeah, unfortunately they're everywhere.
Oh. There's, okay, we've got 3. Sorry. Hi, Amy. My butt. Look at my butt. Okay, here's Sammy. Come. So the way is like I did when we did the class, is always starting out with a little massage. Sammy. And they've got nerves all the way down to their teeth. Are these hot spots?
Yes, that they heal. They heal. Look, honey. Look, honey.
slower you do the scanning, you can feel for hot spots, cool,
Yes. Yes.
and that's the best way actually to feel for any lumps, bumps.
It's continuing. Okay. It's continuing.
Sammy? So that's how we would start, and maybe if she'll even come over to you, would be by, you know what, where's that stuffed animal you had?
Ah, yeah, there's plenty. Here,
Or I could get one, I have one in my car. We're gonna pretend, since you wanna be over
Yes.
there,
yes.
so we're gonna pretend this is you, Sammy, okay? So,
Your son.
this is a miniature version of you, okay? Until you decide to come over here, okay? This is you. You're looking at your mother like I'm nuts. So we'll do exactly what we did that day at the beach. So you want to just start at the base of the ear with your thumbs and massage all the way down to the tip of the ear. And whatever you do, just like on a person in a class, whatever you do on one side, you always want to do on the other. So
Did you see this?
did you see that, Sandy? Oh, I have, you know what? That's the funniest thing. You should see what's in my car. Okay.
This is you, Sammy.
Oh, God. That's a larger version of you.
Until
Okay.
you decide to cooperate.
So, yeah.
That's Angel, and that's Sammy.
Okay, you got it. This is Angel. Oh, look who's going to come over. And it never fails. That is too funny.
She's very gentle when she.
Oh, just like
She
you were
will not try
playing
to.
with her toy.
Yeah.
So then, you know, you start on the other side, and you do the same thing with the ear.
When you speaking goes lightly on it,
I do. It usually goes to sleep after a certain amount of time. I think if you're not using it, or I think,
Yeah. It looks like it's recording. Okay. I don't know how to, but I may have to do this every so often.
oh, that's okay. This is not as broadcast
yes, yes, yes.
quality, so. And then, you know, just starting like at the base of their neck and just, it's called scanning actually. So the slower you move your hands all the way down to the tip of the tail, okay? And that's when you start feeling for like really cool areas, for really warm or hot spots. You know, you can feel that. And then when you start to work on the limbs, like when you start massaging the limbs or even rolling the skin, this is when you'll probably find lumps. If there's like, you know, just a cyst or something,
Yes.
hopefully it's nothing more
She's
than
got
that.
several, but they're
Yeah,
all
that's how I have found them on my own dog and on other people's dogs. And it's usually for massage.
Don't eat it.
So that's how we start the session with the dogs, you know, and just stroking, kneading, rolling, and, you know, and just doing that kind of technique just to get all the dogs in a space, or the dog,
Yes.
calm and relaxed. Then we can start out, we start doing some seated poses. And if you have a small dog, doga is nothing more than partner yoga. The difference when you're working with the dogs, look who's here.
Because they're only
The difference with the dogs is you want to be They become weights. When you're working with a small dog, you're going to work with a small dog in any of the poses, you don't want to lift a dog that's more than 8 pounds. So, like, even my dogs are too heavy at this point. Rosie is, Rosie weighs about 13 and a half pounds, as does Ruby. So I don't really lift them in any of the poses. But an 8-pound dog, whether it's a Yorkie or,
Yes.
Maltese or anything like that, you can lift and use as weights. A good thing with the larger dogs is they become more like your bolster in yoga. So if you're sitting like this and you have Sammy in front of you, you can stretch over Sammy. Hi, Sammy. And just breathe. You always want to stay in a pose for 5, 10 breaths. And the more calm and relaxed you become, the more calm and relaxed the dog will become. They feel our energy. If you're anxious, upset, sad, the dog is going to feel that energy. But when you start to go into these poses, you're going to find your breath and the dog's breath.
Sync.
They're in sync. It's amazing. And that's why there was a woman at the class who had a 4-month-old puppy, I think it was a Frenchie or something, and she didn't expect the dog to be calm. And
Everybody declared that day. Everybody.
That for me was that I've never had 50 people.
And you did great.
It was fun. It was the energy. It was everybody. It wasn't just me. I think it was everyone that was there. So that's why we start out with these poses, so we can start connecting. And when you're doing any kind of a yoga pose, whether you're doing a forward bend or if you're taking your legs out to the side, like
Did you
this,
see the cat?
you're going to come over here eventually, Sammy. And I never force the dog.
Yes, I noticed. Did you see if the cat went out? You did, right?
I'm like you that way. If you want to go check, go check. I
just
care
make
more
sure
about the cat.
Yeah, it is open. There's got to be a better way than that.
Sammy, you want to come over?
Come on, Sam. We have to use the frog.
Oh, it got chilly.
See, we have to use all of your time.
You know, it's so funny. I always keep those stuffed dogs in my car.
Oh, we have to wait a minute.
And I thought, just in case.
This is from Wells Fargo. That he got a Christmas present.
Oh, you have to give that one a name now. So now, even when you take your legs out, to the side, and you could take the spine of your dog. Now, if you have a large dog, like if Sammy were here, I would just bring my right foot, the sole of my foot to my inner thigh,
Yes.
and I would do my stretch,
Yes.
right? You could do your side stretch. Or if you want, and then you reverse the sides, right? And always breathing, and again, we would be holding this for several breaths. It's so beautiful out. We might as well take advantage of it.
Yes.
And bringing your left arm down by your side. And if you want, you can if you have a smaller dog, you can bring the spine of the dog against their belly.
Okay, right.
Yeah, right? And either with your legs folded or again with your leg out to the side, you can hold them and you can gently, and I don't do this very often unless it's a small group because I don't want anybody hurting the dog, but you can take their left, right under their left forearm, and you can stretch it just a little bit.
Yes.
Hi.
Has
You
my
want to come
neighbor.
play with our stuffed animals?
You know, or your baby. Bring Marion down. He has a 2-month-old newborn.
Oh.
We'll do yoga with them.
Very good.
And you can just work your way to the side, you know, lifting or just holding the limb. And this is the part where it's super, super careful, and I don't do a lot of stretches with the dogs and their limbs. Because all it takes is not you, the teacher, it's that student who could accidentally, you know, just go just too far and hurt the dog, and that's something we don't want to do. So you can usually just hold your hand under, and you can just work them so that they go to the side. You know, those are the kind of things you can do with them, so that they get a little bit of a stretch.
Is it easier with smaller animals?
Yeah, it is. Then, you know, like we did in class, you have your cat-cow.
Yes.
So whether it's a small dog or a large dog, we're going to assume they're in front of us. And, you know, you still want to watch the students, the humans, not just the dogs. And that's where it gets tricky, because now you're watching the humans and the dogs, so that nobody hurts themselves. So you still want to keep the hands directly under your shoulder, knees under the hips. And, you know, just do a couple of breathing, inhaling and exhaling, exhale, and doing some cat-cows. Coming back to a neutral spine, tabletop, flat tabletop position. And here's where we'll work into what we call double down dog instead of downward facing dog, because we're working with the dogs. So especially with a large dog in front of you, is it fully charged?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's gotta be something that you can to avoid that, but I have to go to the Apple store.
So, well, especially with a large dog, but you can, you know, because the idea with the doga, if you will, is it's a bonding experience with the dog. So you always want to try to maintain contact somehow.
Yes.
So whether you're in a pose and you want to hold your hand on the dog, or in this case with downward facing dog, when you curl your toes under and you make your way up into the pose, you're going to take the crown of your head and place it on your dog. Sammy would actually be a great dog to do this with. If she came over.
Sammy, come.
Perfect. And it doesn't mean, you know, we're not working the poses. We work them as much as we want to work them. And again, a lot of it is just connecting with the dog, breathing. And then, when you're ready, coming back down onto your mat, onto your knees, and we're going to work our way into puppy pose instead of child's pose. So you're going to bring your big toes together, knees out, bringing your tailbone down towards your heels. And again, this is great with a large dog and a small dog, whatever feels right with wherever your dog is at. But if your dog is there, you can place your cheek onto the dog if you want to. Yeah, it's a great healing pose.
You came up with all some you edited.
Some I've edited myself. I just took my own and it's it's relaxing.
And creative.
Yeah, I love it. I do.
You're very good at it.
Oh, thank you. It's just because I like it, I think.
Yeah.
I'd rather do this than do anything. Like, it's hard for me to do this and then get my head into my work. Like, yeah.
Oh,
I
she
haven't
found another one. If when we do it again, I have to hide all the balls, as you can see. That I don't-
Yeah, or it's actually, I have found whether it's meditation or yoga, it can be distracting when you're outdoors
Oh,
because there's
yes.
so many elements, you know.
Right.
But and then just like you would in a regular yoga session, so you want to turn your face, your head to the other side. You always want to work both sides. And normally, what we would do is from here, we would work our way back into, which we can. We can come back up onto all fours to a tabletop position and work our way back into downward facing dog again, or double down dog. And then carefully, especially if we have real dogs, we're not going to jump and hop to the front of the
Sure,
mat like you
sure.
would in class. You're going to carefully, because we don't know where the dog is at this point, we're going to
Sure.
assume it's in front of us, but we're going to make our way up to standing and do some standing poses.
Yes.
So we'll just play with a few. So again, if you have an 8-pound dog, we're going to pick up our 8-pound dog. We're going to pretend this is, we said Angel, right?
Yes.
This is Angel, okay. So we're going to start out by doing a side angle pose. So you're going to face your trees here, okay? And you're going to, you know what, we can start facing this way, right? So, okay.
Yeah.
And take your feet 4 or 5 feet apart.
I can face you.
Yeah.
I can see what you're doing. Yeah.
Okay. So we'll take our left foot facing that way.
Yes. Yes. Can
I
I ask
usually
you?
come up with names of what I'm facing.
Yes. Yes.
Iron door.
Yes.
Okay. And then your
Or
back,
west. Yes.
yeah, or west. That's correct. And then your back foot is slightly turned inward, right? So now we're going to take our small dog and hold it under your right armpit. Only if you can. I always stress to the students, if you have good balance and you can handle the weight, because it is extra weight, right? And then bend your left knee, and you still want to trace it over that second toe, and you want to be careful. And you can take your left forearm onto the thigh, you know, and just work your way into a side stretch this way. Or if you want to take it a step further, you can take your hand down. But I try to maintain, you know, the pose, and I still try to keep the chest open, the heart open in the pose. But you know what? In this case, I care more about the dogs and the safety. So if somebody's holding the dog and I see them going like this, I'm not going to stop them. But for somebody who is more flexible, I would suggest they try to open up the chest more and try to, somebody's sniffing my butt. Hello. Okay, and then making your way up, feet forward towards me, and then work your way back to a neutral Tadasana, mountain pose.
Yes.
Okay.
So there are about how many yoga poses? 500 or 5,000?
Oh yeah,
5,000.
yeah, but I didn't learn 5,000 poses, even in 500-hour teacher trainings. That's it.
But in every human pose, you are able to incorporate the
Tadasana.
animal.
Oh, the animal. In
Almost
every
in
single one?
Well, almost.
No, because I wouldn't do
The
headstand.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it can get extreme where somebody's going to get hurt.
Sure, sure. No,
And
that's
I think just having the dog by your side, the energy of the animal, that's what, you know, in all my yoga classes or teacher trainings, I just got resentful. Why can't my dog be here, just laying next to me? You know, not necessarily being a part of the poses,
Sure.
but there weren't, you know, there's yoga studios, they're not going to allow a dog.
right.
I do know some.
We're gonna change that law.
Yeah, Well, yeah, I
It's
want
gonna be the Amy Law.
the Doga Studios where you can bring your dogs.
Yes.
And then, so you want to
Same
work.
thing with swimming, by the way. There isn't one pool, even four hands for all.
Two hands for a pause.
Even that, the humans cannot be in there at
I
the
know.
same, which I don't like it. Even the other one, Doggy Central. So I mean, unless you can have your own private pool, but most places in LA, since the space is limited, we don't.
That's funny you brought that up. I talked to Leslie today, who
Yeah.
owns Two
Yeah.
Hands for a Pause when I was over there, and I told her I'm going to do my aqua
Good.
therapy training.
Good.
And she said, well, unless you have to keep up with your vet training because she said, I think it's too dangerous. And I'm tired of hearing that.
I'm tired too, because you're gonna have the monopoly. Everybody's gonna come.
It's
to
about the money.
you.
Follow the dollar signs. Because then she loses, you know.
Yes.
But I've already had my vet say to me,
But there is a need.
Yeah.
There is a need. You have somebody has to fill it.
right? So we'll just do one side. We're gonna
Okay.
just because we're playing today, but
But I'll help you with that, by the way, because I've been wanting to like be able to be in the same. Right now, I swim at the ocean with her. You know, it's cold. I have to wear the wetsuit. I'm afraid of
Right.
sharks. It's no idea.
right, it's not safe.
Yeah.
Why can't there be a swimming pool where you can go with your? Go figure.
Yes.
I don't know. It's not the craziest thing in the world.
No.
I don't get it, Sammy. You know,
I know.
Sammy, you're allowed on the mat.
Exactly.
And so here we're going to go into Trikonasana, so triangle pose. So here, again, you're going to have your doggy under your arm if you can. Left arm out to the side. Yeah, out parallel. This is when I know my brain's getting mushy and I'm tired.
Yeah, we can finish.
Yeah, and then you're going to work your way down as far as you can go. Again, I always say whether it's the knee, shin, ankle, if you can go to the floor. I always try to maintain the integrity of the pose, so I'll try to keep the chest, heart open, and breathe. And you'll make your way back up. And then we'll do a forward bend. This one is a good one to do with a small dog. It's also a great one if you have a large dog right here. So with the forward bend, you're holding your dog safely.
Hold her.
She's like, I don't want to play that game. I want my ball. And you're going to hold your dog. Again, oh, we'll wind up banging heads here. Oh. And when you come down slowly, watching your lower back, holding the dog, and normally if you're holding an 8-pound dog, that's a weight that's bringing you down. And you can place the dog down onto your mat if you want, bringing the crown of your head onto the dog. With a large dog, you're perfect. Can I have you? And if not, you can just place your hands if the dog is just there, and you can also place your hands in front of the dog. Whatever's most comfortable for you in the pose and what's safest for the dog. And breathing, and then just working your way into that pose.
Have you had anybody else call you for a private?
Yeah, and now you can understand why I don't do a lot. You know, I just, by the time the weekend comes, I don't have it in me to drive all over the place. I've already been everywhere.
Sure. Thanks God I live close to you.
Huh?
Thanks God.
Yeah, you were like, I was like, oh gosh, you're only 2 blocks away, so it's, that's fine. But I've had people, ask me, the marina, I go when I do the healthy spot. Oh, okay, and then we work our way back up. And so with healthy spot, and like I have all these classes coming up for them with them,
Right.
and then the training. So to add on, privates, I'm depleting myself.
No, I know. That's why I wanted to record this so at least I can duplicate it.
Yeah.
But but I want to do more work with you also in other aspects. Like I want to bring you as a guest expert on my show. I'll tell you more. I don't want to overwhelm you. We'll sit down for coffee and buy you lunch one day.
Oh,
We'll bring the doggies at the dog cafe.
Yeah.
and we'll
I
whatever.
could just go to creation.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so these are eventually what I'll do is I'll write out like when I do the cards.
Yes,
I want to do the cards.
Yeah.
So that's something like as soon as I'm done filming, and we're about a month away from finishing everything, and then I'll do the photo shoot, and we'll do the
Sure.
cards and all the
Perfect,
stuff.
perfect.
But so yeah, you just the whole idea is you can, and I'm always making notes. That's why I
Good,
always carry
good,
that
good,
with
good. That's
me.
good. That's
Yeah.
good.
Right.
Yes.
And it's maintaining that contact. So even when you meditate with your dog, come here, Sam.
If you hold the ball, yeah. Sure.
Come here. Come. Come. Okay. Sit. Sit. Good. Sit. Okay. So you can. Oh, thank you. I love you too. And you can meditate with your dog.
Beautiful.
There's so many beautiful meditations you can do with the dog. And to me, there's nothing better than meditating with a dog.
I agree.
That, for me,
Or any animal.
any absolutely. I know there's a woman, one of my yoga teachers. I think she's going up to Canada, and there's a woman that does it with the horses.
That's awesome.
So there's a lot of different mudras you can do. You can just sit out here, which is beautiful. Place one hand on your belly. You can place one hand on your dog, or one hand on your heart, and one hand on Sammy. Close your eyes, and it's that contact. It's that contact. It's everything. To me, that's magic.
Absolutely.
I don't know what it is, but I love it. This is what you
They
want.
love it too.
Yeah, they do. And that's why I mean, every dog, I know if you and I just sat here and meditated for a few minutes, Sammy would make her way over.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Because they're attracted to that energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll do a full thing. What I'll do is I can even write out a practice for you
Sure.
that
Sure.
you can do. I mean, I just haven't got to.
Yeah, no, and you're still grieving from everything you went through. So I'm sorry if I
No,
pushed you.
that's
I really
okay. You
didn't
didn't.
understand
You did,
what
and
you went through.
no, and
until
I
you
didn't.
explained it
I,
today.
you know what? Yeah, I didn't know she knew. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's again, that's something I just met you. Like it sounds weird. I think just oh, well, Gary Shannon was a yeah. It's like I separate the two. Yeah, I really do.
But
I
thank
try
you
to
for
keep
coming
this
anyway.
about the dogs and
Yeah,
separate
I
that.
hope it wasn't somewhat energizing.
Yeah,
For
and
you too, and
and
healing.
even like when I'm not here,
Yes.
remember I told you're not going to do it with Sammy, but Sammy could be under your legs,
Yes.
like we did in class. If you're upstairs and you can just play. If she's laying down, just put your feet over her torso, her belly,
Yes.
and come here, Sammy. So I'll put the ball here. I'm going to pretend this is you because maybe you'll come over. And then you're going to work your way into boat pose. Now, if you have a small dog, you could have your dog on your belly.
If I had both, I have one here, one
Yeah.
here.
But if I have Sammy, then Sammy's going to be here, right? So yeah, that's a great ab workout, and I usually do that around 3 times, and then when I come back to center, another great pose to do is Supta Baddha Konasana, and what a great thing to do with Sammy, more so than a small dog, is bringing the soles of your feet together. If she's lying down, and your feet would be on her, if she's lying on her side, like your feet would be on her, and then I'll bring yoga blankets or a bolster behind you.
Sure, I have blankets in the bag.
Oh, okay.
Do you
And
want one?
oh, not now. I'm not going to. But then you lay
Sure.
back,
Yes.
and you're connected with your dog with your feet on
Sure.
your dog, and then you work your way into shavasana, and again, and remember we did twists.
Yes.
We also did the twists.
You have pictures of all of these?
No, I'm going to do the photo.
You, even just you.
I have some.
Are they on your website?
Not yet. I'm going to do that. I want to break down those
Yeah.
poses. I have a lot of work to do.
You do. You do. Let us help you. Let us help you.
I have a lot of work to do, but again, so for the past year, it's been about the movie. So.
Yeah, of course. I understand.
And
One
it's
thing
wonderful.
At a time. No need to stress.
You know what?
It's a long journey.
Yeah, and what's so great about this is the one thing I learned from doing the movie Vitality After 90
Yes.
was every person I met that was 90 or 100, especially Ida Keeling, who's 100 years old and she's a sprinter. And she said something to me that she's been running since she's 67. She had two sons that were killed. And her daughter, Shelley, is a runner. She's an attorney and a runner, and I just hooked her up with a literary agent. She's writing a book about her mother now, which is, it's all good timing. And she sat me on a bench, and I said, how did you go through all that? You know, here you're a mother, your two sons that were killed. You went through that stage in a woman's life hormonally. You're whacked out, you know. And she looked at me and she goes, Amy, you get out of your head and get out of bed. And we're making that into a t-shirt. Get out of your head and get out of bed. Everyone loved that.
Yes.
But the one common theme that I found with all of these people was purpose. They all had a purpose. Some of them were painters, musicians, like Dick Van Dyke has a book out now called Keep Moving. And all of them, there's so many of them that we interviewed. And like I said, Dan Buettner talks about a lot about the longevity and what these people do to make it to 100. You know, there's also the reality that genetics probably play a certain role in all of it. You know, but it's a great documentary. You'll see it. Yeah.
Can't wait.
But yes, this will be my focus. I have the photographer in place. It's just like you. And I looked at your calendar and I'm like, oh my God, you're me.
We're working on making it better.
What's your ultimate goal? What is it that you're aspiring to do ultimately?
Sure. So,
Because
I'm already very well established as a business coach and business psychologist all over the world. I mean, I have clients in everywhere, literally Tanzania, even now new one in Oman.
How do you work with them?
It's all through the internet. Yeah, I work from home.
Skyping and stuff.
Yeah. So, but there's only so much of that I can do, and I do some groups as well. So I am. I'm going to be. So here, the Western market is already a little bit saturated, but
with the coaching and the life coaching and all.
But in Italy, where I'm from, there's nothing. So pretty soon, it's in the works. Pretty soon, we'll be able to launch my own academy to certify business coaches, all in Italian, and that will happen soon. So that, and then of course, I have people doing it for me. That already live there.
Wow.
So I won't have to be too much involved, just to oversee. But I'm involved. That's what I was briefly telling you that morning when I met you, but I know there was too much going on. So I'm involved in the new sort of like social media for women, just for women, on a global scale called Heart of All Women. Heart of All Women is going to be launching soon. It's a Silicon Valley company run by women and for women only.
Oh, I love it.
And, I mean, we love men. We just have Sammy. As women, we need more support. So they want to bring me in as the human-animal bond expert because I did my whole PhD dissertation, which I can send you if you want.
I'd love to see
It's
it.
very boring because it's awful. full of formulas. That's how they want it written, you know,
Yeah.
very scientifically. But it's all on that, on the human-animal bond and how that really stress and how you attach to your ball, how you attach to your animal, that can also help you have many more benefits because humans attach to humans in different ways in psychology, more securely.
I was just going to
securely,
say, I
avoidant.
feel safer connecting with an animal than I do with,
Yes.
especially in my line of work. I don't bond with people that
Yes.
safely.
Correct.
There's a wall.
Yes.
Or a guard, not a wall. There's always a guard
Absolutely.
up.
Yes.
Because usually most people want something from me.
Yeah.
Right? The dog
Correct.
doesn't want anything from me, or
No.
the horse, or whatever
Correct.
it is,
Correct.
or the cat. Really, they're all about love, loyalty,
Yeah.
Bonding, right?
Sure.
So
Although not everybody bonds with animals like you and me, as
well,
you
you know what?
Some
I was
are more
lucky.
detached.
I was lucky. I was raised by a mother who taught me to never trust anyone who didn't like animals,
Yes.
and I've
Yes.
lived by that rule.
Yeah. Same here. Same here.
Yeah, I couldn't.
So with that, and then the book I gave you, my chapter is all about that, but written for the mass, not so as a scientist.
Not so technical.
Which you can sleep. And so because of that, that sort of gave me the authority to be able to be brought in as the authority of the human-animal bond,
Right.
as a PhD psychologist. But then in this Heart of All Women social media, where women who come in and talk about whatever they're passionate about and help other women on a global scale. So I would love to interview you on there, and then you can even have your own thing if you want on there. This will give you so much access, like on a global scale, if that's what you want. So there'll be lots of great opportunities.
Well, I do. Here's what I do. I want it to be on a global scale. I want people to be more open to doing things like this, especially yoga is meditation and motion. It's a meditative practice. Um, it's something you can do safely, and it's a way to connect with the dog or
Yes.
the animal. I know a lot of yoga teachers who are now, or people getting their certifications, they want to do yoga with their horses. I know nothing about that.
Sure.
I know that I could sit and meditate with a horse in a field somewhere and feel very content, right? I could go there with that. But you can sit on a mat and practice with your dog, and it goes on and on. You and I could sit here for 2 hours with all the modalities, whether it's the acupressure, there you go, baby, the acupressure, whether it's the massage, you know, um, it's all connecting.
Absolutely.
It's, there's a vibration there that I think the human gets and the dog gets, and to me, there's nothing better than that. Absolutely nothing. So what I'll do is, as I told you, so
Yes.
I think I leave. Well, I leave this Thursday. I'm back on Sunday,
I'll turn this off. Yeah.
and then I know I will be jumping on a plane because it's when Tony Bennett says,
Let's do a namaste, and then I turn that off.
"Oh, yeah,
Just for the
you want to do the ohms?"
Yes.
Sammy, you're doing an ohm with me. I'm getting on that mat. You can sit on mine. I don't care.
Yes.
Come here, Sammy. Ooh. I'm going to hold the ball like this so we can connect. Woo. Ready? Okay. We're going to bring our palms together, Sammy. Okay. And we're going to drop your forehead towards the heart. And actually, you can bring your forehead into your thumbs. Actually, what am I doing? Into the thumbs. Bring your palms back to the heart. We'll end with 3 ohms. I'm going to actually take one hand and place it onto Sammy's paw if she'll let me. And our first inhalation will begin with 3 ohms.
I love it. I love it. I love it. We turn these off.